This is so heavy. So whenever I'm making dinner and I have to add chicken to it, I'll try and do like a whole chicken. I'll set that chicken into a half a pot of water. I'll add different spices and make my own chicken stock. Well, I also every year can my own bone broth. And so I was lucky enough to snag this bag of chicken feet. So all I do is I just put it into my pressure canner with water and different kinds of herbs. I pressure can it. And I don't pressure can it like I normally would do like veggies. I put the pressure on it just so it can start like kind of cooking, because you're gonna know it's done when you see globules that look like oil. That's the actual marrow that's in the chicken feet. And so you wanna pull all that out, because that's what makes the bone broth so nutritious. And so I don't want to do like a heavy pressure. I just want to do a little bit of pressure so it actually cooks it, because you want to be left with basically nothing. You want a lot of stuff pulled out of this, and there'll be maybe some little bones and stuff, and then you strain it out. But I'm going to show you that whole process. I ran out of my bone broth, so I'm so excited to make more to get us through the season, because I do love making soups. So all right, here we go. Let's make some homemade bone broth. Here are the different spices I'm gonna add. Now, if you wanna just can it or just make it and not add any spices, you can do that, that's fine. But I like to add mine to my soups. Anytime I'm like rice, I like to add it to my rice. So I wanna add the seasonings before. So I'm gonna be doing Italian seasoning. Now, Italian seasoning has marjoram, rosemary, thyme, savory, sage, oregano, and basil. So I'm gonna add bay leaves, black pepper, garlic salt, dried parsley. Instead of fresh garlic, I'm gonna add minced garlic. And then my friend, I know this has sage in it, but my friend dried her own sage, so I'm gonna add that too. So here's all the spices I'm gonna add to my homemade bone broth. I guess it's not homemade. I mean, I'm making it at home. I guess you can call it, right, homemade bone broth. I don't have to buy it at the store. I'm trying so hard to make things at the house so I don't have to buy it at the store. And I'm really excited that my husband was able to get these chicken feet because I haven't been able to find them. We go all the time to the meat market and they're always sold out, because bone broth is just so healthy for you. You should drink at least an 8-ounce glass of it every single day. So I cleaned up my pressure canner and I'm gonna fill it probably about halfway. Now I do have, I think, about 5 to 10 pounds of chicken feet. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna have to do maybe 2 batches. So we'll just have to wait and see. After I add the water, the chicken feet, and then my spices, I'll see if I'm gonna be able to fit everything in there. I'm hoping to get maybe a couple dozen quarts of bone broth. It's so wonderful, it's so healthy for you. Like I said, I make chicken stock. I don't know if I even said that to you guys, but I do make chicken stock whenever I'm making different recipes. If I have a whole chicken, I will put that chicken in water, make my own stock for my own base for my soups. Super, super easy. Looks like we're almost done. A little bit more. Okay, so I have my half a pot of water. Yeah, so like I just said, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to fit all the chicken feet in here. I'm gonna go grab all my spices, get those in the pot first, and then we'll just add a little bit of the feet at a time just so I can kind of play it out. I got a little bit more than a half a pot of water. I got all my spices put into the pot. So what I added was 2 tablespoons of Italian seasoning, 2 tablespoons of parsley, a tablespoon of garlic salt, a tablespoon of black pepper, about 5 to 6 bay leaves, 2 tablespoons of the minced garlic, and then probably like I don't know, maybe a quarter of a cup or a handful of the dried sage. Sage, not sage, sage. Okay, now I gotta grab them out. This is the hard part of making the bone broth, is having to touch the feet. Okay, so I'm just gonna start adding them and see, if they're gonna fit, because I do want to make lots of broth and I don't wanna put too many in here. This is truly hard. I mean, look at you guys, yeah, I don't know how I'm doing it. You're probably saying, how is she touching that? It's hard. We actually used to sell whole chickens. We did meat chickens years ago, and it was really hard to do it. It didn't last long just because it just wasn't for us. Ooh, here's a big clunk of... Listen, it's hard. This is very hard for me. Okay, I'm gonna keep doing this. I don't got much. So I decided just to add them all. I think it's gonna be fine. I don't wanna have to touch them a second time. I might just add a little bit more water to the pot too, and then I'll just have lots of chicken broth. Okay, last one. All the chicken feet fit in here. I added a little bit more water, so now I'm gonna put the top on this. I'm gonna turn it on to like a medium heat. When you see steam starting to come out of here, that tells you that it's hot enough to start adding pressure. So I have a pressure gauge in the front here. I'm gonna pressurize it for maybe 5 pounds of pressure, because it's not like when you can vegetables. They have to be to a certain pound of pressure to seal it and to kill the bacteria. Well, I'm just cooking the chicken broth or the chicken legs because I want to get that marrow out of the bone and make that nice like yellow color. I want to cook the bones down to nothing because I want all that good stuff into making my bone broth. And so it's probably going to take maybe an hour or two. And so you're just gonna have to watch it, because you're gonna have to adjust your temperature, because you don't want it to be at a certain pressure. You just wanna kind of keep it low, like low and slow and steady, because you want it to slowly come out of there. Because like I said, you wanna make sure you see those globules, those little oil globules. And if you don't see them, that means you haven't pulled that marrow out of the bone. I think also, I've heard that people will do like chicken heads. They'll also do like the breasts and stuff. But I know the feet are super healthy. And also, if you have dogs, giving them the raw chicken feet is also very good for them too. So, yeah, so probably a couple hours, just, you know, I like to do it and I like to let it set for the day, because it is going to still stay hot. And then I'll probably be canning it tonight. So I'll get all my jars ready to go. It is going to take a while, but you just want to make sure though you get that marrow. I know I've said it like 1,400 times, but you want to make sure that it's out of there, and that's a way to figure it out. So now I'm going to turn my burner on medium heat. Like I said, I'll come back when this starts steaming, just so you guys can see the whole process and then see my little gauge here. But yeah, I love canning so much. I can potatoes and carrots and green beans. I made spaghetti sauce and tomato soup and sun-dried tomatoes, dehydrated tomatoes. I also make jams. I make salsas, relishes. Like, if you can can it, I will. And my friend just gave me pie pumpkins, so I can cook those down and like emulsion the pie pumpkins. And I think I'm gonna pressure can my own pie puree. So I have to work on that too. I thought I was done, but you know what? All these things keep popping up. My husband got me these legs or these feet. I was super excited about it. Anything I can do to make things from scratch or homemade, I've just been loving it. I've made so many sweet breads. I'm about to make my zucchini, chocolate chip zucchini bread. I might add apples to it. I was talking to Robert last night. I said, what can I do a little different with my zucchini bread this year than I normally do? He's like, I don't know, whatever you do, it's always good. So, but yeah, okay. Time to get going on the broth, because I have lots going on today, like lots going on. So it's been about 30 minutes. I've been cooking it on just like low to medium heat. Steam is starting to come out a little bit, so I'm going to add that weight. And I'm just going to watch it, because I want it to stay around the 5. I don't want to get it over here, because I'm not actually trying to pressure can. I'm just trying to cook it and get all that yumminess out of there. So I'm going to make sure I try and keep it at 5 pounds of pressure. So the temperature's starting to climb, but I want to make sure that I keep it around 5 or under. And whenever this pops up like this, this tells you that the pressure is building. So if this stays down, enough pressure hasn't built to start sealing the canner. So I want to make sure I keep that at 5. All right, so it's done. See how nice that is? It's so, and you can kind of see the oil right there. So the feet are cooked down. Now it's time to put them in my canning jars. And looks like I'm gonna get a pile of bone broth this year. Now it's time to fill up these jars. I have all these spices in there. Looks really good. I hope I get a lot, because I really want a lot of beef broth or bone broth here. I'm gonna go into the jar like this. I'm kind of making a mess. There we go. And you want to just go right up to that seal there. A little bit more. it is gonna be kind of greasy. And let's just put the extra in here. There we go. Let's get this one done. So I have two canners. One of my canners that I'm gonna be using for this is shorter and wider. So I think I can get 7 jars in that one, but this tall one I can only get 6. But because I made my broth in this one, I had to grab out my other canner to use to process the jars. So after I'm done with this, I'm gonna clean off the tops because you wanna make sure there's no debris on them or they won't seal. And so it is gonna be oily, really oily. Or it's gonna feel really oily, but that's okay. That's what we want. All right, I'll keep doing this. When I come back, we'll get the jars cleaned up, sealed, and put into the water bath. Now just take a hot, clean washcloth and wipe. Ooh, they're really hot too, so make sure you don't burn your fingers. And then just run your fingers over it, just making sure you got everything off of there and that there's no chips or cracks in your tops or they won't seal also. If you feel like you have a little bit more oil on there, just wipe them again. It smells really good. Okay. Okay, I've already rinsed all my lids and seals. Got those all ready to go. So just put the tops on each one, just like this. All right. After the seals, now we're gonna add the screw lids. You don't have to do them super tight. Just a, whew, it's hot. Yikes. They're really hot. And then we're gonna go over to the water bath. Got the burner going. Now just carefully bring them over and make sure that there is space in between each jar because they are gonna move around a little bit and you don't want them to break as they're jiggling around. I'm not sure if this is gonna fit 7, we'll see. I thought it did, but I don't know. Oh yeah, I think so. Put one in the middle. And then one on the side. And then just move around. You don't want them touching the wall of the canner and you don't want them touching each other. And make sure you have that little black or metal insert that goes on the bottom. Just keeps them from being right at the burner. All right, perfect. So I'll just show you here. See how I have them spaced so they aren't touching each other? So if you're looking at it, it'll be an arrow telling you where to line it up. And there's an arrow here. So this one actually has to be turned. I got it backwards so I can see the gauge. Because it has a little arrow to match. And then put this on and slide it over. That handle got a little bit messed up. And so once it starts to get hot enough, there's going to be steam coming out of this. Then you put your weight on there, and then this is going to kind of jiggle around. When this goes up, this is the indicator that you have pressure starting to build, and then you have your gauge, and you want to keep it between 10 to 15. I don't like to go over 15, so around 12 would be perfect. So it's probably going to take it about 10 minutes to get hot enough so we can still start building pressure inside of the canner. So the steam is coming. You can kind of hear it, the jar's kind of rattling a little bit. That's why you want the space. So now that the steam's up, we're going to put the weight on, and then once that pops up, we know that it is time and the pressure is going to start building. So you really need to watch your canner. Oh, look at that. That was so fast. Okay, probably because the jars were hot and the liquid was hot. So now it should start getting pressure. And then when it starts going up and it hits 10 and you notice it's still going up a lot, you're gonna want to adjust the temperature of the burner so it doesn't go too much pressure. Okay, so the pressure's starting to build. Like I said, once it gets to 10, and then like in between around 12, really adjust your burner if you have to, because you want it to stay consistent. You don't have to increase it, decrease it, increase it, decrease it. So just keep adjusting your burner until it stays, you know, within at least 1 pound of pressure. If it goes from like 12 to 13, that's okay. But you don't want it to fluctuate a ton because you really want your jar sealed. And if it goes below 10, then the bacteria is not going to be killed out of it either. So just really watch it. This part, you really kind of want to maybe turn a show on or some music or get something done in your kitchen because you're going to want to stay close to it just to monitor the pounds of pressure. So once it gets up to the pounds of pressure you need, then you're going to time it for 45 minutes. Now I'm going to do mine around 12 pounds of pressure. So I had to run in for a couple things, so I just let this set. So we're going to take out the first jars of my bone broth. Look how beautiful that is. So beautiful. And so when you use it, see how all the spices kind of float? You can mix it up a little bit. It's a little late tonight. All my guys are out. Me and my daughter had to do a couple things in town. So it worked out just perfect. So yeah, isn't that nice? And then I did add a little bit more water to my other one because I felt like it was more concentrated than need be. So I got that one cooking a little bit too. Okay, that looks really good. First batch done. I finished last night around probably 11:30. I ended up with 14 quart jars of the bone broth and then 6 pint jars. It just looks so pretty. And it is a little darker because I did add different spices to it. I did add pepper. I don't normally add pepper to my bone broth, but I did this time. But they look good. Sorry about those creaky floors. So yeah, there it is. Well, thanks so much for joining me on Candy My Bone Broth. Make sure to subscribe and like to our family page. And yeah, enjoy your fall. Thanksgiving's coming.